finalize our trainings to advocate, to meet our senators and the rest with passion. And today, I really want to make sure that we feel welcome and people who are watching to feel welcome. This is about our people. This is about youth around this country, around Africa, and deeply about Banyamulenge youth. My name is Fisto Ndeshimir. I am the executive director of YDN, Young Adults Development Network. And today we have young people that are part of this, leaders that are part of this. I welcome our mentor, Pastor Nkomezi. Thank you for being with us today. It's a pleasure to have you in the room. And the rest of the team, I don't need to mention names, right? But I really welcome you in this room. This is our first hour. This is our first day for the training. And I want to make sure that you feel welcome in this room. You have any questions, ask questions. But because of time, I'm going to go ahead and start our conference. And I'm going to start with a speech. And this speech is to remind our young people and our people around the country, especially Banyamulenge youth and the rest of the youth that are diaspora from Africa, to think about their potential power and what they can do to transforming our communities. And this is education that everybody needs, but we have to get started. Some people have to be a part of it, right? And then this is our job to inspire everybody else to be a part of this. But since this is the beginning, I welcome you all to be a part of this speech. And my speech goes, my brothers and sisters, to the young minds before me, and those listening across nations, from refugee camps to college classrooms, from small towns to global cities, I welcome you with my whole heart. We are not here as tourists. We are not here to repeat what has already been said. We are here because something inside of us refuses to accept a world where young people are silenced, scattered, or ignored. The prophet Hosea said, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge." But today, I add, we are also destroyed by the refusal to act on what we already know. Too many of us wear knowledge like decoration, not a responsibility. Too many of our communities are drowning in silence while their best minds whisper in fear. Let this be the day we choose different path. Let this be the generation that says we will not die in ignorance. We will not live in silence. We will rise in knowledge and speak in power. To the young people, I see you. I know you. I'm you. Some of us were born in refugee camps. I'm part of that. Others were raised in places where we had to fight just to be seen. We learned new languages, crossed borders, and lost our names before we even knew what they meant. But let me tell you something very clear. Your exile is not your end. It is your beginning. You were not made to be lost. You were made to find the path. You were not made to only survive. You're made to rebuild. Education is not a trophy. It is a tool. If you carry degrees but do not serve your people, then your education has failed you. Money is not power unless it builds. Money is not leadership unless it heals. We have seen people with big titles but small vision. We have seen movements that march but never move. Let that not be us. As Malcolm X said, the future belongs to those who prepare for it today. But I say to you, the future will belong to those who are bold enough to build what they do not yet see. The Young Adults Development Network was born in politicians. It said politicians, but we're not politicians. The Young Adults Development Network was not created by politicians. We looked around and saw educated young people sitting on the sidelines while the world burned. We saw talent in chains. We saw leaders waiting for permission to lead. So we said, no more. We built YDN to be a place where young people from the margins could rise to the center. Not with fear, but with clarity. Not with slogans, but with strategy. Not with a copy what already exists. Or not to copy what already exists, but to create what is still missing. Let us not pretend that our pain is past. The Democratic Republic of Congo is not only a land of minerals, it is a land of blood, betrayal, and silence. We remember our people. The Banyamulenge who were killed because they looked different. The villages that were burnt. The children who buried their babies. As you know, we have kids getting married when they're still babies. They're burying their own babies. The mothers who buried their babies and were told to be quiet. The fathers who disappeared trying to protect what was left. Some of us escaped, but we carry that history in our bones. The world it might not look safe, but we know that safety is not the same as freedom. As Patrice Lumumba said, Africa will write its own history, and it will be a history of glory and dignity. But he was killed for saying that. So now we must not only speak it. We must finish what he began. YDN is not a youth group, to be clear. It is not a one-time program. It is not a place to come and feel important. YDN is a strategy. It is a seed. It is a revolution in slow motion. We train leaders to be loud. We train leaders not to be loud, but to be wise. We teach young people how to enter rooms of power without losing their souls. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. I've been there before, and I've seen the power of that. Don't be afraid. We offer leadership, training, rooted in purpose. Mentorship that does not just tell you what to do, but works with you. Political education that prepares you to shape laws, not just follow them. Spiritual grounding that builds character, not just charisma. We will continue to host the YDN annual conference right here in Washington, D.C. once a year to bring young people where decisions are made. Because we believe that you cannot change a room you are too afraid to enter. Don't be afraid to enter these rooms. When we come to DC, we have the power. And we're going to enter those rooms with all our mighty, with prayers, with courage, and with purpose, and with passion. And we're going to learn. And once we understand, we now are able to face something we're afraid of. And we can become that. That's why we're here. We are launching a scholarship program, not just for grades, but for greatness. And we are starting creative programs to keep our young people strong, focused, and off the streets. We must fight drugs. Let's not allow our young people to abuse drugs. Let's not allow our young people to abuse drugs. Let's not allow our young people to abuse drugs. Because we know a distracted youth is a defeated future. We will also work with organizations that carry the same heartbeat, like FCNL, Friends Committee on National Legislation. This organization has been a blessing to y'all, to me, and to many other young people around the country. And you're going to see that. You see, Tanzania is already here. She's here for you. And we're going to continue to work with those organizations. Now I want to speak to the parents. I speak with deep love. Do not raise your children only to survive. Raise them to lead. Support them not only with money, but with wisdom, attention, and blessing. They are not too young. You are not too late to raise your children the way we're supposed to raise children. We thank you to our elders. We thank you, but we also call you. If you hold leadership, lead with honesty. Do not speak for the people and live against them. As Kwame Nkrumah said, the independence of one nation means nothing unless all African is free. So I say, your success means nothing if your people remain voiceless. Young people, you were not born by accident. You are the answer to prayer. To the prayer your ancestors never lived to see. You are not too young. You are not too poor. You are not too broken. You are the generation that history has been waiting for. We do not need anyone, but we need the willing. We do not need perfection, but we need commitments. So let this be our cry and our command. God bless our Christians. God bless our young people and the communities. God bless our education and our growth in economy, security, and power. God bless us to become better Christians and God bless our country. And may God bless those who carry the fire, not to burn bridges, but to light the path forward. The disliking and disconnections we have in our community, we must end that. We must unite as a community. We must unite as a community, especially young people. It must start here. Let's build what the world has never seen together, and we must work as a team, built together, and with same passion, with passion to build back home and to unite our young people and to make sure that our young people are passionate enough to engage and to realize the potential power we have. Thank you. Now, I appreciate that. Thank you so much for listening to my speech. I would like to welcome our trainer. Tanzania, she's going to introduce herself. She's been doing a lot of work, so I'm not the person to introduce her. I wish I had somebody who's capable enough to introduce her. But we love you. Thank you for being part of this. We welcome you. Please join us, and this is your moment.
Hello, sorry. This is such a cool setup you have.
Thank you.
I will introduce myself, and I'll also ask you some questions on how I could possibly get hooked up.
Of course.
Hi. Hello. I know you all are from different places, so I'd love to hear more about you all as well. As Fisto said, my name is Tanzania. I work. Your name is Tanzania.
Good job.
I thought you were from Tanzania. I know.
Excuse me.
Yes.
I want to give you this.
Oh, okay.
Now you're good.
Wow. Are we being recorded? Is this like live? Oh my God. Okay. Wow. Okay. Yeah. So I'm not from Tanzania, but my name is Tanzania. I work for the Friends Committee on National Legislation. I work as the Advocacy Corps manager. Advocacy Corps is a young adult advocacy network at FCNL. Fisto invited me here today to speak with you all about what is advocacy and I have to stand here. Yeah. Oh, perfect. Perfect. Okay. Okay, perfect. Is there a way where I could also plug in? Okay. Will it be compatible with my device? Let's see. I worry it may not be compatible. Oh wait, no, here we go. Perfect. And I just need to plug in because my battery's low. Okay.
There you go. Actually connected already.
Yes. My computer recognizes Friends Place. Oh, yes. Okay. Great, 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 great. Okay. I will. Okay. Let me just get something else up real quick. But yeah, as I set up, I said a little bit about myself. I would love to hear from everyone, your names, where you're from. I'll start. I already kind of started, but again, I'm Tanzania. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. She, her, and I work at the Friends Committee on National Legislation. We'd love to hear your names, where you're from, what brings you to the YDN, just like, yeah, quick intros. We'll start with you.
Yeah, my name is Enoch Boga. I'm from Tennessee. And the reason why I'm here, I want to learn about advocacy and yeah.
Cool. Say your name one more time.
Enoch.
Enoch.
Yes.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
And my name is also AJ. How's that?
AJ.
And I'm from Dayton, Ohio. And I'm here to learn about advocacy and learn more about each other.
Awesome.
From each other.
Lovely to meet you.
My name is Beefy.
Beefy?
Yes, I'm from Ohio. I'm here to learn and to connect with you.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, my name is Rich. I'm from Dayton, Ohio, and I'm just here to learn what it means to advocate and how the tools we could utilize to uplift our communities.
Awesome. Thank you.
My name is Angelique Breaking-Forming. I go with Angel Nibarita, and I am from Congo, DRC, and I came from Nashville, Tennessee, and I'm here for the learning. I love learning, and I love my people. So I feel like it's a better way to serve my people is to learn advocating and also getting like exposure to the people who are educated in that field.
Lovely. Thank you.
My name is Saj Kajabo from Indiana.
From Indiana. Wow. Okay. Yes, we got Midwest. I heard a little bit of the South. Didn't hear any other Northeast folks, but it's okay. We'll be the lone representation of that region. Thank you all for introducing me to you and telling me a little bit about your stories and why you're here. I'm going to speak to you all about advocacy through the lens of FCNL. From my understanding, some of you have seen this already, but we're going to revisit it and put it in the FCNL context as well.
Sorry, what is FCNL?
Yes, the Friends Committee on National Legislation. We are a Quaker, nonpartisan advocacy and policy organization. So we have a policy wing that leads us in like our strategy as it pertains to federal legislation. And then we have our advocacy wing, which makes up our network, like all of you guys, people on the ground around the country who act on our policy goals by speaking to their members of Congress on pieces of legislation. FCNL works on like a lot of different issues. Yeah. So it really, the portfolios are quite vast. And how my program fits into all of that, it's a 10-month fellowship where we hire a cohort of organizers from around the country around a particular issue, a specific ask. So the cohort that just started, we just finished our training, our 10-day training here in DC for our newly hired cohort. They're working on migration. Last year's cohort worked on our Middle East portfolio. So they were focused on ceasefire in Gaza, end of US arms sales, and the restoration of UNRWA. And the cohort before that was FISO's cohort. They worked on gun violence prevention programs through community violence interrupters. So FCNL works on domestic and foreign policy issues in an environment, in Native American issues, in criminal justice, there's literally so many that I can't even name. In the environment, like there's a bunch of different issues that FCNL focuses on.
So you guys basically influence policy making?
Yes. Through both wings. Through our lobby wing, we have lead lobbyists that like create the strategy and also meet with members of Congress. And then the advocacy wing that I'm a part of, we train our network to meet with their members of Congress on different issues. Yes, so I'll talk a little bit more about that. I'm curious who all is familiar with the 4 roles in social justice movements. Just because from my understanding, some of you have received this training already before. A little bit? Not a lot?
Yeah.
Okay. With Larissa? Yeah. So the framework that we look at this is defined by a couple of like renowned Quaker activists, George Lakey and Bill Moyer. They created this, diagram of different roles that exist within the social movement. So we have the citizen, the reformer, the rebel, and the change agent. we have other terms for this. So I'll start with the rebel role. The rebel role is the person who sees a problem or injustice and prefers to make a commotion of some kind of force power holders to make a change. So they're disrupting, they're interrupting, they're challenging the system. An example of a rebel would be a protester, or sometimes it can be autonomous groups that come together and, let's say, like block off an intersection or stop something from being sent, like weapons, to another country. Those are like our rebel roles. I'm curious if anyone here has ever participated in what we call the rebel role, or whose understanding is of what this means, the rebel.
I think that, well, I don't think I've participated in one, but I've encountered one. The environmental activists.
Yes.
They used to blow up the road.
Exactly. Yes, that's a perfect example. Any other examples, or anyone who has experience embracing this role in the general social justice movement work in your lives?
Didn't you guys participate in several?
Actually, it was one of them. The university that I attended, where students got together and started protesting against the new law that came out, stopping the Black student unions from different universities.
Oh.
Would that be considered a rebel role?
Yeah, I would definitely consider that a rebel role for sure. Another recent example that comes to mind for me, like I said, I'm from New York City, but this has been happening all over the country the past years, like the actions that students at universities have been taking on for Gaza, calling their universities to divest from the Israeli regime. That's another example of the rebel role. There were the encampments as well. So let's move to, yeah.
So the rebel role doesn't include the one that takes up arms, right?
No, not necessarily in the context of George Lakey and Bill Moyer. It can include that, but because they're Quaker, the Quakers like do nonviolent action or peaceful action. So that can include taking up arms. Within their like framework, they're thinking more like nonviolent disruptions than like taking up arms. But that can be included here for sure.
What about like one we go like on hunger strike, like that's because
Exactly. Yes. Because they're trying to draw attention and they're challenging the system through their bodies. That's a perfect example, for sure. Okay, let's move up the ladder to the organizer or change agent role. So the organizer experiences joy from collecting people who may not even know each other or turning them into a well-oiled team. So for example, we have an organizer here. Fisto organized all of you here together to become agents of change. The organizer I see as like a really important role because all of these roles work together. The organizer really makes sure that all of these different roles are in communication, right? Because if we're all taking on different roles and doing things separately, we don't have a common goal and we're not going to progress to like what we want to see. So the organizer is like really key in making sure everyone is together. The organizer is like base building. It's speaking to people on the grassroots level, speaking to community members, getting them to take action together. So I'm curious if anyone here has had any experience being an organizer, taking on the organizer role, or are there any examples in your lives or in recent history that come to your mind that, that like exemplifies this organizer role? Yes.
Yeah.
Fifi.
Yes.
Fifi.
Yeah. I'm recently organizing, like we trying to have election in our like youth election in our community. So I'm in charge of that. I'm organizing that. I hope it's gonna go well. This is my first time organizing, collecting people together to make something go. Have something going.
Perfect example. Yes, that is an example of an organizer, absolutely. I'm curious if anyone else has experience or...
I think I went to Sinclair Community College, and at the time they didn't have any African Union, and so I was one of the founding, one of the people that were able to bring people together to form an African Union at Sinclair University.
Absolutely. That is a perfect example. Yes, you are also an organizer. Beautiful. Yeah, organizers are really speaking to people, bringing them together into some sort of action, whether it's, an organization like BSU or like what you're doing. Absolutely. That is an organizer. Yeah.
Even though we're speaking this in a positive way, I want to know, and this also might go to Fisto, what challenges that you think organizers face?
Okay, you want me to start? I think mostly lack of understanding. This organizing work is something that you have to understand deeply. It's challenging because organizing means engaging other young people.
Yes.
Having one-on-one engagement.
Yes.
So similar
Just having to do that sometimes
but they're like this one, not like this. Just
lack of resources. There's some things that the community care about, and there's some things that the community doesn't care about. And you face challenges when it comes to resources. Those are challenges you face. And the third thing is lack of passion. Like we have issues around the community, but until we have passionate young people, a group of young people that are passionate enough to take on those responsibilities, it's tough to understand, to resolve the issues we have in our community. So the challenges we face as organizers is the fact that sometimes working with young people that are not passionate enough to move with us and move with the same momentum, the same time, and just move with the same spirit. I'll say that. And that's challenging when you're organizing. So an organizer is somebody who has big heart, patience, and just never want to give up.
Yeah, definitely. Sorry, I didn't know. Sorry. I would say in all of these roles, but just speaking to the organizer role specifically, there is a lot of patience that's required because you're not necessarily seeing the fruits of your labor in real time. It's more of a long-term vision. That's one. Two, similar to what Fisto was saying, trying to, through one-on-ones, through connecting with people in your community, understanding what they care about and what they need and connecting it to the issue that you want to get them involved in can sometimes be a challenge because, speaking of just within the United States context, we're operating under a capitalist system. So people have a lot of other demanding needs that are more immediate to them, right? People are trying to get food on the table. They're trying to pay their bills. They're trying to survive. And because of those conditions, it can be difficult to find that energy and compassion and direct it towards changing a problem, even if it directly impacts them. Not everyone has the space and the energy and the time to be involved, to take on an action, to commit themselves to a particular issue. So that can be the challenge, is how you communicate to people to get them on board, understanding where they're coming from, but also communicating how the issue at hand impacts them and relates to them, and that they can, take ownership and feel empowered to change whatever that is, that they don't have to be constantly suffering under it, that there's something they can do to change their realities. That's long-term work. It takes a lot of series of conversations. Some people get on board right away. Some people take time, and then sustaining the movement and sustaining people's participation is a challenge for sure.
Thank you.
I have a question.
I was going to say, there's a lot of censorship these days.
Yeah.
So as an organizer, how do you deal with those censorship? Because, for example, you may lose everything, for the cause that you want to, to advocate for, So how do you deal with that kind of pressure of having to decide, like, if you can advocate or, lose everything, Yeah.
I'm curious under like what specific like censorship in speaking publicly or
Yeah,
connecting.
they may remove you from school, or they may you may get fired
Yeah.
by speaking up or trying to organize something that we that we change, or like that will bring revolution in that community.
Yeah, that's the risk. There's risk assessment, honestly, in organizing work. There are, different organizations that can protect you. Like there are resources out there if something is to happen. But that is the nature of the work with every role, right? With the rebel, there is the risk of getting arrested, and people are aware of that, and they organize systems of support when that happens to people. Same for in the organizer role. If you're at a university or at a workspace that you can't speak openly about whatever the issue is, it can be difficult to organize in those spaces. What I will say is that not everything has to be public. There are ways to more like secretly organize and coordinate. There are ways where you can use social media in a way where it doesn't, direct back to you. And there are like safety measures that you can take, but there's always going to be that level of risk under whatever system you're operating within. If there is like intense censorship, that's a part of the game. But the thing is that if everyone submits to that, then there's no like pathway forward, right? Like the systems that are silencing you and want to like censor your speech and censor your action and don't want you to organize, they count on your fear. They count on you like not being willing to take that step. There are like ways that you can combat that through like having roles and like different like pockets of support within your community. But yeah, there's kind of always that risk.
Yeah, you say like you said not everything should be in public. So how do you decide, okay, which one to bring in public?
Yeah.
Or which one you should not, you should not put on in public.
Yeah.
And also, for example, like I had a friend, he's doing law. He had an internship to go to White House. I don't know what he was gonna do for that summer. I think he was gonna work as an assistant for someone. And for her to get that internship, like they were like he had to submit all his social media platform.
Yeah.
And if they see like any organization that they they don't support or like they are against, you may lose that internship.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of organizers, they may back up because for example, right now I still for example, if I want to be an organizer, right now I'm at a point where for me to become successful for what I'm about to do or for what I'm passionate about, I have to have a lot of connection. So, I don't know how I can ask this question, but I think you understand,
Yeah.
If I start right now organizing this thing, and then I'm applying to, for internship to get those connection, and now I get denied because of my organization.
Work. Yeah.
Which one to bring?
Yeah,
how do you know?
How can you do it? Because you are still growing, and with that pressure, you may some people may choose to back up, and not be part of any organization or be an organizer.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's true. I will say, in my experience, I'm in a completely different situation because I work for an organization that cares about these issues and where there are no repercussions for how I post on social media or what I say. I do think the role of social media, there has to be like, I guess like a type of discernment on how you utilize it or not. There are ways that you can get people to gather that does not require you to be on Instagram and Facebook. You can still connect with people digitally in some way, but you don't have to like be sharing things online in order to organize. You can speak with people on the ground one-on-one and gather them in those ways. It can be like tricky though. I think though, like if you are looking for work like within peace and social justice movements and organizations, that's, in my experience, is not like a challenge that you'll come across. But yeah, it's different if you're going for, law, or if you're going to business, or in the corporate world, it's a totally different game. Or even in education, it's a totally different like landscape. But I would say definitely be careful and mindful about how you're interacting with social media as it pertains to your organizing work. But I do want to emphasize that you don't have to be online. It's a great tool, but you don't have to organize through social media in order to organize. When I was in the program that I'm in right now, I wasn't using social media at all. It was all word of mouth, like in my community. So that's what I would encourage, just based on my experience.
And then can I add on with that?
Yeah.
And then I think you spoke more about the challenges, right? Like the challenges that you might face as an organizer. Say, like they might kick you out or out of school, or school might not approve of you, your application because, and I think there's been few cases in Columbia University of a few protesters too, but I think those are the risks you have to be fully aware of as an organizer. And I don't think anything would be the way it is today if people didn't take those risks. Like if Susan B. Anthony didn't take those risks and get arrested, and women wouldn't be able to vote today. And if Martin
Yeah. Was there another question?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. I have a question that is kind of a little bit specific, because when it comes, like we have a kind of tiny community. I say tiny, like comparing to American, like the population, the whole United States. My question is, like, if you are passionate about something and you don't have support, and you are still like that young person who's like having that call or maybe that passion in you, how will you like overcome the fear of like you see an issue in your community, but you don't know how you will make people understand, and you are sure because you are part of that community, and you see the issue. Maybe they're not aware, or maybe they are aware, but probably they don't care about it. How will you like overcome the fear of like being an organizer, or even like speak up and talk about it? I'm emphasizing as being a younger, young person, like a young in a career of like you don't have support and you're still young, but are you seeing that? Were we supposed to deny it and then let it go, or
The fear?
Yeah, not let it go. Like let it go. That person is like, I'm not able to do this. Let me just give it up because I still have a lot of things to work on myself. Maybe, what will you do? Yeah, if it makes sense.
Yeah, I think I understand your question. I will say I come from the perspective that you don't have to be like an expert or this fearless person to be an advocate or to be an organizer. It's really in my view, it is like an internal drive, and that doesn't mean that the fear ever goes away. It kind of, it kind of will always be there, but you just do it anyway, and you push through that fear. As to your question, what I think you're asking about, like how to communicate to people who may not care or ignorant to the issue, and you as a younger person, like I'm assuming like speaking to people of all different ages, maybe also like elders who are more set in their ways. Yeah, that can be a tricky dynamic. I think it's really about, so for example, we talk about one-on-ones. One-on-one conversations aren't you, it's not like a dogmatic like approach of you like telling someone like you should care, you should care, you should care. It's you asking them what they care about. It's you asking them what they value and relating it to the issue. So someone could say like, I care about my family. Like I care about having access to clean water or whatever it may be. And that's where you come in and saying like, here is an opportunity that can address that, where we can fix that problem, where we can make this community safer for your family, where we can make this community like have opportunities for people to thrive. Like you're giving them like solutions, you're hearing their problems and giving them solutions and seeing where they can fit in, how they can get involved. It doesn't mean they don't have to be a rebel or an organizer with you. They can participate at different levels. But that's like what the purpose of like that one-on-one is. I say a one-on-one is like 70% you listening, 30% you speaking. You're like deeply listening to what they're saying and what they care about.
So it would be like a kind of survey asking questions. Sorry. Would be like a survey, like just asking questions.
Just asking questions,
okay.
Like, because like you will see those moments. The more you ask people questions, and then you like give in those like little seeds. Sometimes it's like say like the analogy of like this pipe is leaking. It's like once one drop hits, it's like people's like perspective starts to shift. And the more that you tell them, the more drops that come, and then they can make it from the inactive state to an active state. It takes a while for people to get to that place, but it's just like, when you have those conversations and you help people connect the dots, they realize for themselves, and that's when they want to get involved. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Were there any other questions, or do we want to continue moving up the ladder?
Yeah, let's continue.
Okay. So the next role is the helper/citizen role. So the helper is drawn to direct service, personally doing what they can to remedy the situation. So I think of a helper as, for example, at a protest, it's the people that are passing water bottles. It's the people that are providing care to the rebels, to the organizers, to the people that are like doing like the really hard work. The helper could be folks who do mutual aid work, like that type of like support. That's the helper. And that's like a role that people can take that doesn't have as much ability of the people who are like actively like fighting and like piecing all the things together and organizing the actions. So the helper is a really important role. The organizer connects the helper to the movement. But that is another example of a role in social justice work. So have any of you ever taken on a helper role, or can you think of an example where someone in your community has been a helper in movement work in general?
Well, I would say, like as of right now, I said I'm organizing an event. Sometimes I call people that I know have skills and like different things that we need, and those are helper. They're not involved. But I know they have skills. I know they can do something or change something to what we're planning on doing. Those like just people who want to volunteer. And I think that, well, like I've been also helping, here and there in the community. And that is one of the things that brings joy. And also it helps you understand people, understand their needs, and how you can help them, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. Anyone else has an example or who has participated as a helper in movement work?
I participated in this organization that were trying to educate people about oral health. And it was in Alabama. So basically, like, we went to this, the church invited dental students to go to the church where they're gonna went there and we meet a lot of students from remote area and a lot of them did not have access to oral health care. They did not have access to oral health care, and we had to educate them about how they should take care of their teeth, and it was something basic. Yeah.
Okay. Yes. That is a helper role as well. That's a lot more involved for sure. It doesn't always have to be that involved. Sometimes it's just someone offering spiritual support or education as well. That's definitely a great example. There's a variety of ways where people can be the helpers. It's volunteer EMT at protests, as well as another example, when people being there if someone passes out or something happens to them. That's another example of a helper role. And the helpers are extremely important. I think they get forgotten a lot because they're in the background, but it's a key role, right? Because they help sustain the movement overall. If people don't have water, if they don't have food, if they don't have access to healthcare, how are they going to continue the work overall? So a helper role is really, really important. Now let's move up to the advocate/reformer role. The advocate focuses on communication with power holders who can change a policy or practice. So this is where FCNL comes in. This is FCNL's role. We also have organizers like myself and Fisto, but we also have our policy wing that are speaking to the decision makers. So the advocate can be a lobbyist, for example, a lobbyist whose job it is to meet with members of Congress who have specific points of influence and ask them to act on that influence. Organizing is within the room. It's having the conversation directly to the decision maker, whereas the rebel role is not going into a meeting with someone to talk to them. They're trying to disrupt and challenge. Or the organizer who is speaking with people who are affected by policy on the ground and getting them together. Or the helper that is also assisting the community. The advocate/reformer is trying to work within the system through speaking to those who have the power to make certain decisions and being in communication with them to hopefully influence them to make the right decisions, the decisions that we hope for them to make. So that's where FCNL comes in. I want to read to you all as well FCNL's theory of change that kind of speaks to this advocate reformer role that we have. So FCNL's theory of change is grounded in the Quaker belief that there is that of God in everyone. We engage legislators through deep listening and storytelling, creating space for a way forward even amid division. We collaborate with a diverse network of people who share our concerns to build constructive relationships with federal representatives and foster cross-partisan support for our policy priorities. By combining the expertise of seasoned lobbyists with the power of an engaged grassroots community, we will shift federal policy towards the world we seek. I'm curious if anyone, what takeaways or what people are hearing from this theory of change through the perspective of this advocate role.
What's the question? Sorry. Can you
Repeat it. Yeah.
Repeat it? Yeah. I'll just read it all out one more time.
Yeah.
So FCNL's theory of change is grounded in the Quaker belief that there is that of God in everyone. We engage legislators through deep listening and storytelling, creating space for a way forward even amid division. We collaborate with a diverse network of people who share our concerns to build constructive relationships with federal representatives and foster cross-partisan support for our policy priorities. By combining the expertise of seasoned lobbyists with the power of an engaged grassroots community, we will shift federal policy towards the world we seek. So how do you all understand that? What are like some takeaways of this theory of change?
Basically, you have to be a storyteller, I guess. Talk about what is happening in the community, what is going on in the country.
Right, exactly. Because how do representatives know how the policy that they're voting on impacts community members without hearing stories from people on the ground?
I will also say build contractive relationships with the federal representatives in a way like you even mentioned it that they will never know what's going on if you don't let them know. So I love the way like
You kind of try to, even though it's hard, you may not know even them so well, but like you try to build those connections. Yeah, it's hard, but it takes time. But yes. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. It is hard. It is hard because I think like as constituents, it's a common belief, like, why don't they, like, they should obviously know this. They serve us. Why don't they know, like, how this is impacting us or how this piece of legislation will impact us? But yeah, you'd be surprised how clueless members and their staff can be. So getting into those rooms and telling them directly what's your perspective and your story as their constituent can have an impact on how they view their role and how they act in their power. So bringing us back to all of these 4 roles, as I want to emphasize again, all 4 roles have a purpose. All 4 roles are important. No role is more important than the other. They all work together towards a common goal. That's how we create progress. In the examples you were saying about like Martin Luther King Jr. and the civil rights movement, Martin Luther King was an organizer. He was organizing rebels. There were helpers. There were people in the community that were supporting people as they were being attacked by police, right? As they were marching and doing nonviolent actions, as they were doing sit-ins, when they had the bus boycott, ensuring that people were able to get to work, have new systems of transportation, right? There were the advocates and the reformers that were working across the aisle with Congress at FCNL, for example. Like all of this works together towards a common goal.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Does that mean you can be, you can have all those roles or skills?
Yeah.
Or you would need all those people to work with?
Yeah, for sure. For example, for myself, it depends on the issue or the movement I'm in. Sometimes I'm the organizer. Sometimes I'm the rebel. Sometimes I'm the helper. Like some people have like one role and they like embrace that. That's their strength. That's their skill set. But you don't have to be one role in every situation. It can really fluctuate. Yeah.
So I have a question. So there's this organization that I have been working for. I'm not an employee, but I'm a part of it. Like I volunteer. So I usually go with some dentists in Alabama. Like
dentists in Alabama?
Yeah, we usually go to some remote area where there's like, and people that live there. I don't know if you have been to Demopolis, Alabama. It's like a lot of people that live there, like they are poor, and most of them are people of color, and they don't have access to healthcare. So we go there, and like we do, we do some. The dentist, they do some extraction, and me as an assistant, like I help him, or also help calm down the patient, because some patients, like, it's their first time going to see a dentist.
Mm-hmm.
So would I say like I'm a helper?
Yeah, that's a helper for sure. Absolutely.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Were there any other questions before I move forward? Okay. I'm going to transition us to go over, I realize I'm a little over time, so I will be mindful of the timing, but I want to talk about how this works, like how advocacy at FCNL works. I've been mentioning lobbying, lobby visits, like what does that mean? What does it mean to lobby? So FCNL has a particular approach to lobbying that I want to go over with you all. This probably does not look very clear. Let me actually download it and let's see if it'll be better via, how do you say, via PDF. So just give me one moment.
You can zoom it.
I can? Okay. Can I?
Like on the right hand.
Ah! Y'all are so smart. I'm not the most technology. Yeah, like with technology, I like sometimes it's as if like I'm like my grandma's age. Like
I'm the same.
Yeah. But my grandma is like more like technologically like in tune or in understanding than I am. It's really funny. But yes, so this is what we call at FCNL our lobby visit roadmap. It's the structure of how a lobby visit works and how we approach lobbying. Because a lobby visit anyone can do. Like you as a constituent have the right to meet with your members of Congress or their staff. You have the right to speak to them. So we believe that it's something that anyone can do. You don't have to be an expert. You don't have to like have all this like policy knowledge. You don't need all of that. It's really about getting people in the room and telling their stories and deep listening to what the member is saying, asking them questions, trying to understand where they are, and then tell them what you want them to do. So this is the structure. There are quite a few roles. And depending on the size of your delegation, one person can do all of these roles, or you can have multiple people that take them on. So we have, to start, the group leader. The group leader is the organizer. The group leader schedules the visit. The group leader introduces the delegation. The group leader at the start of the meeting confirms how much time the member has to speak or the staffer has to speak with the group. The group leader is like really facilitating the meeting. That's one role. So yes, it says, during prep and before visit, the group leader plans when and where to meet before the lobby visit. They identify the thank you for the legislator. They keep track of who is speaking, when, and for how long. So another part of this that the group leader does usually is they are in charge of the thank you. At FCNL, we encourage constituents to thank the legislator in a visit for something. Like, you're asking them to do something, so to help sweeten the pot, it's like, thank you for putting out this statement recently. We really appreciated it. And we think you could do more. This is what we would like you to do. So the thank you could be a piece of legislation that they've co-sponsored or supported in the past. It can be a statement that they've made. It can be about a completely different issue that's important to you. Let's say that they the legislator signed a bill that improves access to education in your community or something. Be like, my family has really benefited from this action that you took. That's the thank you. Another really important role in a lobby visit is the note taker. The note taker provides the list of names and contact information of the group to the staffer. you don't have to do that. Some offices ask for that, but the note taker is really important because they're note taking throughout the visit. Like everything that the staffer is saying, they're note taking, and they're going to put it all together and send it to the rest of the group, but also follow up with the member after the visit to say, like, this is what we discussed, and this is what we would like you to do, and would love to have like a follow-up conversation with you. That's the role of the note taker. The note taker is listening closely, they're taking notes, and they're also asking questions to the staffer as well during the visit. Another role, or roles that other members of the delegation can take, which is storytellers. Storytellers are really important because, like I said before, it's the stories that the staffer remembers and takes away from the visit. They may not remember your ask, honestly. They may not remember your thank you, but stories is something that they will remember and take away. So at FCNL, we do have an art to storytelling as well, but a story shouldn't be more than, like, I would say more than 1 minute and 30 seconds, 2 minutes max. You want it to be short and sweet, and you want it to tie to the ask. So like, we have like 3 different like approaches to storytelling. We have the value-based. So if you're a person of faith, for example, we say in our theory of change at FCNL, we believe in the Quaker value that everyone has, that of light in everyone. Let's say you're meeting with your member about, there's so many things. Let's say you're meeting with your member about reproductive health care. You can start by saying something like, I, as a Quaker, I believe that, like all life has value. There's that of God in everyone, and that children should have access to XYZ. That's a value-based approach. There's also the turning point approach. So if you're not someone who's directly impacted by an issue, but there was a moment where you realized it was important and you became passionate about the issue, that's a turning point angle. The other angle is personal impact. If you're personally impacted by it, you can tell your story from that perspective as well. And you always tie it back to the issue. Like at the end of your story, it's like, and this is why I would like you to sign this bill, or this is why I would like you to approve this budget for this particular thing. I'm not giving specific examples, but that is the approach. So this is a review of all the order of things with all of the roles in place. So the group leader, like I said, introduces the group. And explains who they are. The note taker, if they would like, gives the staffer a list of delegation members and a copy of the leave behind. At FCNL, we have what we call leave behinds. They're like a 1-pager explainer on the ask. Like if the ask is about a particular bill, it'll say like, it'll have all these like explanations of like why this ask is important, and it'll be highlighted like, we urge the member to sign bill HR 345. I just made up a number. I don't know if that bill exists, but that is what a leave behind is. So that is what the note taker does. They're gathering everyone's information, and they're also handing the member a copy of the leave behind. They also ask for the staffer's contact information and inform that they'll follow up via email with everything, with a recap of the meeting and the leave behind and what they discussed. The group leader asks how much time the legislator or staffer has available for the meeting. Staffers and also members themselves are very busy people. So let's say like when you reached out to them, they said, I can meet you at 2 p.m. But then when you get there in person, you confirm with them how much time they have, because they could have an hour, but they also could have as little as 15 minutes. So it also like helps you figure out like how you want to get all of this done and all this information to them in that short time. The thank you. The group leader can do the thank you, but if you have a delegation of other people who don't have roles, one person can just say, thank you so much for a position, an action, or statement that the legislator has taken. I also say the thank you, if it's hard to find a thank you, because some members are difficult to thank, you can just thank them for their time and thank them for like taking the meeting with you. It's true. It's true. Sometimes their history is like really, really, dehumanizing, and they don't have any good members.
Backing up and not supporting you, then just not smiling, looking at you like that.
Yeah.
It's really hard to like
thank them.
Yeah, it really is. Another thing, this is like on a human level, because like staffers are humans, right? Like members are humans too. You can just like randomly compliment them about something. Like that could be related to the place that you're from. Like let's say that they went to the same like university as you, or let's say you see like they have like a cup of like the university. You could be like, oh my God, I went there too. Like a way to break the ice. Like that could also be like a thank you, you know, just like a way to find a connection. Because also staffers don't always like hold the same opinions, political beliefs as their bosses. So that can just like, you know, you can find those opportunities to break the ice and like get to know them more personally. And that also helps them remember you more and want to meet with you again.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I don't know how my question sounds, but like, will you compliment, like, not really on things that they're having, they hold, but can you say anything on like, you look good, I like your suit or something? It would be heard like professional, or would we just sound nah?
I mean, I think you could compliment like their clothes, like, oh, I really like those shoes. Like, where'd you get them? I think you can do something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. That could be professional, but it also like breaks the ice, like I said, because they're people. You're having a conversation with another person. I like to think of it from that perspective, like not putting the staffer on a pedestal as like, oh, I have to like, you know, like mold myself into like this like really like, you know, super professional person. Because that's also like white supremacy culture. And so breaking the ice and complimenting them also like makes them be like, oh yeah, you're a person too. Like we are just like people connecting right now. Did you want to add anything?
I was going to say, even when you're working with the right person who actually focuses on the policy that you're advocating for, it's always welcoming. Like when you compliment Senate or Congress, but they work around that, if they supported what they've done, like just making that like, you know, that clear.
Yeah.
That they love you. They feel like, okay, we're not connecting. Like,
yeah.
They understand what we're doing. It's important.
Yeah, because also like staffers are used to constituents like berating them and telling them that they're doing things wrong. You know, so it's also like it also like helps like, you know, them, you know, like let their guard down and be like, okay, like this is not going to be a situation that's going to be hostile.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like a casual way to break the ice.
Yeah.
So then we get to the ask. Why are we here? That's where another delegation member can be assigned to introduce the ask. We are here to speak to the member about reinstating refugee admissions programs, for example, which I think is what you all will be working on. That's the ask. Next is stories. So as you see, it's allotted here at 6 minutes, 3 storytellers. If you have that many people, that means 2 minutes per person. But again, if you're meeting with the staffer and they only have 15 minutes, you may only have time for one person to tell their story. So that is also something that you would coordinate and plan for in the preparation for your lobby visit. And then after the stories, the group leader asks the legislator or staffer to respond to the request, like, okay, so what is the member thinking about this particular issue? And then that's when you listen and hear what they say. They might say things like, oh, you know, a lot of staffers will like play that they have no power, that the member has no power, there's nothing they can do, their hands are tied, you know? And that's where there's an opportunity for you to ask them follow-up questions and try to get specifics like, you know, what are you hearing? Are you speaking with other members? Are you speaking with like members on this particular committee that are overlooking the funding for this bill or something? Like you can ask them those more specific questions. They're still gonna be kind of lip-tied, but this is the opportunity where you can try to get as much information out of them as you can. Whatever it is that you're like interested in, and understanding where the member, you know, lies on the spectrum or what they're doing or conversations that they're having. After you have your questions, you repeat the ask again. So if the office supports the ask, you say again, like, will the member co-sponsor this bill? Will they make a public statement in support? And another thing you can always ask them is just like, what can we do? What can we do to help the member like get on board with this? How can we help the member like be more supportive. And also you can always ask them to be more public. If they're, saying they can't guarantee that the member will support it, will they make a public statement? We can draft language for you. You can like offer that support to them. Like, we're working together, we're collaborators in this. After that, the follow-up. So there is the reminder that we will be in touch, that we would love to have a future conversation. We will follow up with you with our leave behind and with a recap of everything that we discussed today. And we'd love the opportunity to meet with you again. And then the group leader thanks the legislator or staffer for their time and attention. And then after the visit is when the follow-up happens. Follow-up is really, really important. At FCNL, we have a lobby report back form if you lobby with us. Because the information that you all get from your visits also, like, we take it back to our team for conversations they're also having. So we're collaborating as well. But yeah, there's the follow-up on FCNL's end and also the follow-up to the staffer. It's so important. Like we say within 3 days. I like to say as soon as possible, because they're meeting with so many people. To make sure that, there is like a digital record of your conversation and everything that you discussed, and that there's a place for you to build up for future conversations and future visits. So that is the end of my spiel. I kind of kept it within time, kind of, sort of. Are there any other questions about the lobby visit? Yes.
I want to ask a question about like storyteller. Like, how would I be a good storyteller? Like, when it comes to, like, maybe I'm normally a vague person, and then maybe complex. I really don't know how to be brief in normal life, and then how in that 2 minutes I will be like so clear and brief, so I won't be like maybe overwhelming to the person. What, like, is there instructions to follow, even though you know your whole story? Like, yeah.
Yes. Perfect question. We have this page resource page on FCNL's website telling your story. It has a breakdown on what a story should include, and also the types of stories that I was talking about earlier. There is a formula to this. If you're, I would say, like, it's also okay for you to come into a visit, like, reading your story, like, verbatim off a piece of paper. Like, you can, like, practice it, and prepare it so that it's concise and you can time yourself. But yeah, this is one resource that can help you with that. I find it really helpful. We also have, like, another tool where you, like, break down your story and you can practice with other people. But yeah, there's definitely, it can be hard to, like, tell you all of who you are in such a brief amount of time, but it's possible. It's just like having the formula to it, like introducing who you are, whichever angle that you're taking. Whether it's, personal impact, turning point, values, like, you're introducing yourself, you're introducing that value, or introducing that personal impact, or introducing, like, that moment where you had a change of perspective, and then you're ending it with the ask. So it's like a sandwich. Yeah. I don't know if that analogy worked well, but yeah, it can be hard. I struggle with, not struggle, but
There's more like information about that.
Nice. Are we gonna have access to this? Like this
on storytelling tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we have one more training tomorrow. I mean, there's another training coming up with Avella.
Y'all are so lucky.
Yeah, I know. Tomorrow we have another training around this storytelling, which is good.
I mean, like, are we gonna have access to these slides?
Like a website. Right? That's a website.
This is on the website on FCNL.org. Yeah. But I can definitely share the 2 documents that I projected to Fisto. Yeah. They're also available on our web. Well, not the 4 roles, but the lobby visit roadmap is also on our website. Yeah.
And some drafts, like storytelling drafts. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. But I can for sure like send everything to you in one email.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, if that's all, thank you all. It was so lovely to meet y'all. And I wish y'all well on your visits and the rest of the training. I know that y'all will do amazingly. Yeah.
No, hey Tanzania, where are you from? Like, where are your parents from?
New York. Yeah.
What is that name? Tanzania.
Oh, my name?
Yeah, because it's such a.
Yeah. No, they literally just looked at a map of Africa and was like, Tanzania. But it's quite common.
It's beautiful.
Yes, I haven't been yet, but yeah, my whole life. It's my namesake. I've always wanted to go. But yeah, it's actually really common. So I'm, Black American, I'm African American. It's really common for people to name their children after African countries. Like you'll meet a lot of Kenyas, even Nairobis, Egypt, Tanzania. Yeah, it's like a way of like reclaiming our African identity. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
And also, you won't come back here again, right?
No, I'm leaving. I'm going back to New York today, but yeah,
We might meet some other
Yeah.
FCNL stuff.
Yeah.
I'm going to visit y'all like maybe tomorrow, but
Yes.
we really appreciate.
Yeah. If you all come back and lobby with us in the spring, I'll see you then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a business card.
Yes, I do. You know what? Let me go grab those. Oh my God, I'm sorry. I did not mean to steal your tech.
Can we do a picture with you?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. In the middle?
Do you guys want to come?
Yeah.
Let me grab my business card.
Right.